Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great. It is Thanksgiving here in Canada. It's a holiday, and a pseudo holiday in the U.S. I understand it's Columbus Day today, but nobody but the bond markets care.
Yeah,
Do you
we should
celebrate
be off today.
Columbus
I don't know
Day?
what's going on. My kids do. They're
Or-
off. They're celebrating in the house with some
Okay.
pancakes with their grandparents taking care of them this morning. So they're having a good old Columbus time. I want to be in there with them, but I'm here with you guys. That's okay. This is fun too. Uh, but yeah, guys, happy Columbus Day if you're celebrating. If your kids are off, hopefully you're having a great time with them and do whatever you do during this holiday. So enjoy yourselves. Peter, how was your weekend? And let's go to a U.S. economic calendar.
Well, weekend was great. I mean, my girls are home, so we had a family dinner and party last night. It was chaotic and awesome. So, yeah, had a great weekend, and yeah, we're back at it now. I guess my daughter heads back to London, and everything goes back to the quiet normalness, I guess, that it normally is. So. It's it's funny. It's having the kids home reminds you how quiet it normally is around here the rest of the time, and I miss the noise.
Yeah.
Miss the noise.
I
So
get that when it's summer and they're home, and I step out from trading, whatever. I go into the house, and the loudness is there. When they go back to school, September, I step in the house like where's everybody's like crickets. You got the desert. What's that called? Desert thing spinning around in the living room. What is it called?
the
Like
tumbleweeds.
the tumbleweeds. There you go. I couldn't think of the name.
Uh,
I mean, it is dead. So yeah, they definitely bring the house to life. All right, economic calendar for this morning. What do we have going on?
Yeah, I have someone in the room that's saying apparently in the U.S. it's now called Indigenous Peoples Day. I guess we're doing the same type of thing in Canada, but on the board, on the bond market apparently hasn't got the message because on their website they definitely say they are closed for Columbus Day. So that means that. When the bond market's closed, usually we get muted volume in the stock market as well because things don't want to fall out of sync too much. But there's not a huge relation to bonds and stocks other than cash flow. So it's a quiet day that you can see. Not really a lot of economic events. We got a couple of Fed governors that are speaking. Kashkari seems to be busy today with two different presentations, one this morning and then one at 9 and 5, and then Waller's speaking at 3. But other than that, quiet. No actual economic data being released today.
Yeah. There it is. Pretty quiet day this morning. What's not quiet is our gappers list. You take a look at that. We have a bunch of stuff on here gapping up and down this morning. Some names we're very familiar with. Looks like Bitcoin had an interesting weekend because they're all up this morning. CleanSpark up 5%, Mara 5%. IREN, I believe, is also involved with Bitcoin. That's up. Coin is here. Hood is here. I mean, you name it. A lot of them on this gap up list this morning, and then a couple of lower flow stocks on the top of the list. And then gapping down, I see mainly Chinese tickers on the gap down this morning. I don't see Baba on there, but the rest are here. PDD, Billy, Neo, TIGR. I always forget if this is Chinese or not. Peter, remind me. I believe it is.
Yep.
Tiger. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
And XPEF. So yeah, so we'll see what's happening there. Let's jump right in, guys. Take a look at the first two. Our low flow stocks. First one is 33 million. The second one we're going to look at is 724,000. So extremely low floats on both of these. First one on deck is LBPH and LBPH. This looks brutal. Up 51%, 4.7 million shares traded. Looks like a buyout, I would say, the way this thing is moving here. But this does not look tradable at all, right? So very, very nasty candles this morning. Peter, anything fun on this?
Good call, Carlos. It is absolutely a buyout. This is Lundbeck AS is going to be buying. This is Longboard Pharma. That's what LBPH is, and they're struck a $2.6 billion deal. So the buyout price is $60 US. So no surprise. You could probably guess that based on the way the price action is and where we've gone to. Again, if you guys are new, whenever you have a buyout, usually the price goes right below, somewhere just below the purchase price by usually about 5% or so, maybe less, and just hangs out there for a while. So you don't get any good trading. Your opportunity was like, if you knew in advance, you could have bought this real early and then waited it out. But yeah, the price is just going to sit here for the next, until whenever this thing closes, which doesn't matter for us as an intraday trader. It's not relevant.
Yeah, I don't like it. We'll move on to the next one. It's going to be VERB. So VERB moving up 25%. Just start to get going here. This is a low flow stock sitting at 724,000. And you can see the volume climbing on here. Hard to borrow, so no shares for sure on this one. And remember, there is no volatility halts during the pre-market. So, Peter, obviously this thing is just starting to get going here. Any news breaking out, or it's just no news madness at the moment?
They did have the chairman and CEO sent an open letter to shareholders, and I don't know this company at all. This is VERB Technology. Don't know them. They're the company behind Market Live and Go Fund Yourself, a TV show and an innovative platform. I've never heard of this thing. I don't know. Anybody watch Go Fund Yourself? I don't know this thing. But anyways, this thing, this open letter basically said they had some issues with a previous stock split. And they basically, whenever the CEO basically has to send an open letter saying the rumors of our death are overstated, it's not a good thing. They basically said he believes that their stock should be trading at around over $22 a share, and the market has unfairly punished them because they didn't understand the reverse stock split that they did and the financial position that they're in. Again, we've said this before, though. No matter what this chairman, the CEO might think, the market is always right. We don't have to agree with it. It doesn't have to make sense. But whatever the price it's trading at, that's the price that the market has said people are, they are willing to pay. And if nobody's willing to pay more than $10.02, which is the current price of VERB, then it doesn't matter what he thinks. So anyways, it's interesting development. That was enough, though, I suppose, to push the price a little bit with some little bit of buying. But I don't think this is going to be tradable. I don't expect any more volume.
Yeah, it looks insane here. Up 30% now, continues to climb above $10 here. I'm gonna add on my entertainment pile because I want to see where this goes. So VERB, I'm gonna have it on here, as you can see it rushing towards at 1050. Should be fun. Next on the list is HIMS. So if we look at HIMS, take a look at HIMS here. This stock, we've seen a gap up plenty of times in the past. Very light volume. The last couple of days, you see an increase in volume here in the last 4 or 5 trading days or so. But for the most part, they just don't trade very well. Today, they're up 7.8, 315,000 shares traded, looking to break out of this area where they've been stuck since August, looks like. Peter, anything good happening with HIMS this morning?
I mean, last week, mid last week, it joined the S&P small cap 600. So I guess that's a little bit of a pump for it. I mean, I'm not sure if that's what's driving it. There was some. So in this sector, if you remember last week, we also talked about Weight Watchers, or what WW.com as they like to be called these days, and who announced that they were producing an Ozempic type of knockoff drug. But again, there's sort of a hit piece saying, that's not a sustainable business model. You can't live off of that. Hims and Hers has said that they're doing something similar. I'm not sure if they've actually released it or not. I don't follow this sector too much. But in any event, some relative news in this grouping, but I've never found good trading on hims and hers. So once again, another one I'll probably just be leaving behind.
Yeah, same here. We'll leave this alone. Let's take a look at what else we have on here. MSTR, so MicroStrategy on deck this morning. Big day on Friday, opening around a 188, 189 maybe, all the way to 212. So big day there. Not the best trading stock, but obviously Friday they crushed, as you can see here. Traded very well. This morning up another 5.6, so still showing some strength. 1.4 million shares traded. Man, they're rocking, Peter. What do you think is their news driving them this morning?
Well, I mean, so now we're heading into Bitcoin space. So MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin play. They're the one we were talking about last week, where they were being mocked a little bit by an economist who said that they should buy all of the. Remember the federal? We talked about this, Carlos. The federal government's got this seized Bitcoin that they were saying,
Yeah.
you should buy them, because they said they wanted to be sort of a repository of Bitcoin, figuring that would be a good long-term strategy. I mean, MicroStrategy has previously stated they want to have a $1 trillion valuation because they think that that's what their company is worth and what their strategy is worth. A little bit of a stretch, being that the company is currently valued at about 40 billion, and that feels a little overstated. So 40 billion to 1 trillion, they got a little ways to go. So but I mean, really, they're just being pushed up on Bitcoin. If we look at the Bitcoin price, it's sitting over 65,000 for the first time in about 2 weeks. So it was here briefly, again, a little over 2 weeks ago, in the last week of September, dropped back down to around 60. It's been bouncing around. So maybe Bitcoin's making a push again. I mean, we know that back in July and May, it was up over 70,000. So it's possible that Bitcoin could move that high. But, I say we, but I've never heard a good explanation of what the actual drivers are of the Bitcoin price change, right? It just sort of happens. Probably it's due to some, buying out there, but I don't know if is it random? Is it programmatic? I mean, nobody can seem to give cause and effect. So who knows where Bitcoin is going to go? But over the weekend, it had a good rise, and that's why we're going to see all of the Bitcoin names, all the Bitcoin miners on our gap up list.
Yeah, and we do. You can see on here, guys, we have Iran, we have Clean Spark, Mara, Coin, Hood, they're all on here this morning. So we're just going to take a look at a few of them. Mara is obviously in play. I mean, big gap up. It's leading percentage-wise the Bitcoin stocks here this morning. If we look at Clean Spark, CLSK, another one that's up 5.1. And again, I'm not a big fan of this one. It's probably my least favorite out of all of them. I'll look at Mara and Coin are the ones that usually it got something going on here. Coin, why Coin's not coming up? Coin's not loading for me for some reason. Okay, there it is. Had a little hiccup, but there's Coin, so up 3%, 635,000 shares traded. So I have to say, MSTR, as difficult as it is to trade, looks very interesting this morning with some news here continuing. So maybe that's the one to watch. I'm gonna also add between Mara and Coin, I can't tell which one looks better. So I'll just put Mara on here, and then we can always think about Coin if that's going to be a play. So let's see what we get, right? Usually the weekend is the hot ticket for this. We're opening up this morning with the gap up over the weekend. We have some moves. Let's see if we can get some action out of this. All right, if we scroll down through our list, let's see anything that's not Bitcoin related. Robinhood is on here, but they typically are Bitcoin as well. Affirm continues on this list once again. So this morning they are, here it is, they're gapping up 2.1, 202,000 shares traded. Not a whole lot of volume. Did have a big day on Friday. Again, if you look at Friday's intraday action, did move very well at the entire day. A little sell-off towards the end of the day, but for the most part, had a great trading day, which is typically not like Affirm. You could tell by this daily too. Their movements are not great. Peter, I guess continuing on Friday's news for Affirm.
Yeah, Affirm is really, there's not a lot of new stuff going on here. As you know, we talked about it last week, and the fact that it had some upgrades. It did get another upgrade today, so it seems to be on a good trajectory anyways. Wells Fargo and Morgan Stanley and TIG all upgraded it last week. This week, Wedbush upgraded with a $45 target price, which is sort of middle of the pack for where people have put it, and we can see that it's pretty much trading at that price, a little bit above it this morning. So wasn't really a big stretch for Wedbush to declare that price. Other than that, yeah, I don't see any other news.
All right, there it is. As far as trading, again, had a big day on Friday. I'll add it to my secondary list. Let's see if this can continue. But normally, again, I'm not a big fan of this one, but we'll see how it does today after the bell and that volume comes in. That kind of covers our gap up list. I can't see anything else besides a lot of Bitcoin stuff on here. Peter, as far as gapping up, anything that you like that maybe we haven't mentioned yet or that is not on this list?
Robin Hood I noticed was on the list. It was interesting. It's ironic, I suppose, that a trading stock doesn't trade well, but it seems to be the same with all of them, right? Like Schwab doesn't trade well, IBKR doesn't trade well, right? Interactive Brokers is IBKR, and Hood. I find it's probably the best of them, but still not great. It was mentioned in Kramer's show in his lightning round, apparently late last week, where he called it a buy. I don't know. It doesn't feel that. Anyways, I'm very jaded on analysts, but if you just look at the daily chart on Hood, to call it a buy seems like an easy statement. Whether it goes up or not, it's a safe place to it's a safe thing to say, because just look at how it's been climbing since August. So, and a lot of the feedback I like from the Twitterverse on Stock Twits is no, don't talk about it. I'm doing well on my on my purchase. Stop it. So. Yeah, it has been a kiss of death in the past when Kramer decides to make a statement. Of course, he also in that same lightning round called Micron a buy, so maybe it'll also have some problems. We haven't really looked at MU, but it is gapping up. Actually, that whole sector is gapping up this morning. So, my usual AMD and NVIDIA are my go-tos. They're not up by much. NVIDIA's up by 1%, and AMD up by 0.2%. But the fact that it's all green is decent for the morning. So,
Yeah,
that's
it sure
about
is.
it on gap up.
Yep. Let's take a look at what's gapping down this morning. Leading the way, low flow stock, 8.8 million shares flow, and this is down 24% this morning. Hard to borrow, so we can't short this. I mean, it just looks like garbage, guys. Top Wealth Group is the name of the company here. As far as you see, there's the truck. As far as intraday trading, I'm not sure about this one. Had a big day on Friday on the daily. Opened up around $4, hit around 8.50, back down to 7 where it closed, and this morning. Which is gapping down a little bit here. So I'm not interested. Again, you can short this low flow stock. Nothing I want to be a part of. Peter, anything on this?
No, this thing looks horrible. It's always their float is exactly 2 million shares. I can find exactly 2 articles on it. There don't seem to be any analysts following it. Like, this feels like it's a Chinese food services company, food distribution company. It feels fake. I mean, I'm sure it's real. Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. Say no more. Anyways, I just.
Are you saying it's a trap? What are you saying here, Peter? It's a trap?
It's a trap.
What we got going on?
There you go. First time this week. We could do that. Yes.
Yeah. There it is. All right. Let's see here. We have XPEF up next on the list this morning. XPEF right now, and again, a bunch of Chinese tickers on there. We got XPEF, Tiger, Neo, Billy, PDD, AS. What's AS? Is this Chinese? Aimer Sport. I don't know I never heard of this company before. Aimer Sports. So not sure. But I'm just thinking about all Chinese stuff here. Again, they've been up and down, lately more down than up, as you can see some of the tickers on here, like PDD we've been looking at quite a bit. We're looking at BABA as well. So it's just kind of holding here. Not much going on right now till we see what's next. So if you want to watch some of these, I've been looking at PDD and BABA. They are definitely my favorites. Again, I don't think they're heavily in place. They're just slightly gapping down this morning. I'll add them on my secondary list. I can always move them up. So I'm going to put PDD on here and also Baba. Peter, I don't think there's any new news on what we've been seeing out of China. Anything that might be causing some of this gap down today? It's not heavy volume on them.
No, I mean, really, we're just seeing continued disappointment. I mean, everybody. If you're investing in the sector, it seems like people are waiting for some announcement out of the government to help identify where they're going to put the funds that they'd previously announced. How much exactly? How many dollars are they putting behind it? How much yuan are they throwing into the bucket? But none of that detail has really come forward. So as the market waits, it continues to be disappointed, and I think we're continue to see things either move sideways or slide a little bit. Chinese EV manufacturers down a little bit more than others on average. I would say, but that's like this whole sector is down this morning. Relatively little impact from last week's big event, right? Which was the Tesla announcement. Tesla is gapping up, by the way, about 1% this morning. But that being said, it's gapping up 1% after a big pull down on Friday of last week. So, which again, probably shouldn't be surprising. Yeah, we can see that big gap down last week, and then the price action was fairly muted after its the big event, the cyber or the robo everything, robo bus, robo car, robo humanoid robots. So. But no real details as to when exactly all this stuff is going to happen. Basically, they just said before 2027. And that's I think we already knew all of that. So anyways, we'll see what happens with this week. I mean, Tesla, you can always trade. This sector obviously has good future prospects. I mean, electric cars at least are real compared to when I was a kid. I mean, when electric cars, they were a joke, right? They were tiny little tin cans that people were trying to slap batteries onto, and you were
Yeah.
It's interesting to me how electric cars have gone from being something ridiculous and wimpy to get to now. Then they were super cool when Tesla came out, to now they're sort of more mainstream, where anybody can get them, just depending on what your driving needs are. So it's it's real. They're real. The cyber taxis, we'll have to see if those are real. I mean, they look cool. The concept, everybody can get it, right? It makes sense. Elon's made a lot of promises in the past, though, about the relative price point of things and the timing of releases that often haven't come to fruition. So, it's just from our perspective, as we're trying to watch the stock on a daily basis, it means, we just don't assume what this thing's going to do over the next little while, because if you look at Tesla's price on a weekly or monthly chart, I mean, there's wild gyrations, right? We've been as low as almost $100. We've been high as $400. So there's a lot of play in Tesla's stock.
Yeah, I agree. I like it here this morning. Good volume. Where it's going to go, who knows? But Tesla's going to be fun to watch over the next couple of days. It always has been good to watch, so I'll add it on here today, especially on a day like today, where there's not really a whole lot coming off this list that we like. Our gap up list continues to grow, so more names making their way there. But for the most part, there's not a lot that looks great. Mainly Bitcoin stuff on here. I got a couple of Bitcoin tickers I'm looking at already, and on the gap down, mainly Chinese stuff, right? So, all right, let's take it to the chat room. See what you guys like this morning, Peter. Unless you had another one, we'll head over to see what our
the only other one I wanted to mention was Boeing. The bad news seems to continue for Boeing, as we see regularly. I mean, they are gapping down, but their stock, again, surprisingly resilient. I mean, I'm not saying it's not down. It absolutely is if you look at a daily chart, but it's not really down by that much, considering how much bad news just keeps piling on to Boeing. They announced layoffs, 10% layoffs, $5 billion charge that they have to amortize. So I mean, that means that there's about 1,700 jobs that they're planning to cut. I mean, not surprised, right? They've had strikes and production issues and parts flying off and investigations by government agencies and CEOs resigning in disgrace, and it's just the company seems to be in total disarray, and yet the stock price doesn't really seem to reflect that. So what does it mean intraday? I don't like trading Boeing for whatever reason. Boeing and I just don't get along. So if you like trading it, there's lots of people that do, right? And can trade it quite well. I am not one of them. So, but I think it might be worth watching. I just, the volume is fairly low, not unexpected. It usually is on Boeing, but thought I'd mention it because there was some more news this weekend about those layoffs.
Yeah. All right, let's see what you guys like this morning, friends. Let's take a look in our chat. BA is a company of resilience. Yep, Brian, absolutely. DJT, what's DJT up to? Let's take a look here. DJT pretty flat right now. So it was up earlier this morning, was in the red again around 6:30, and then right back to the previous day close. I know not yesterday, Friday they gapped up. Let's see what they did Friday. Look at the move in the pre-market here, and then market open. I mean, this is just why it's so hard to trade. This is Friday's action, right? The 11th. I mean, it's just up and down, up and down. For the way I trade, this will kill me here. So I'm not a big fan of it. Today's not looking better than it did on Friday. Friday looked real good in the pre-market, if you guys remember that, right? It had a lot of action, had a lot of movement. It's not looking better. But again, it depends. It depends if you like the stock or not. Hard to borrow. I think sometimes we have shares for sure. Sometimes we don't. Today we don't have them. So that's not good. I like to be able to trade the stock both ways, especially this one if I'm going to be touching this thing, because it can drop any minute, right? We've seen that plenty of times. So for those reasons, it won't be on my list here, guys. But it is in play. 2.4 million, slightly down this morning. I don't see a play for me here on this one. What else, friends? I saw a couple of people earlier mention Futu. We had Osper over in I'm sorry, not Futu, SOFI, Osper and Trade FTW mentioned SOFI. Let's take a look at what's happening there. SOFI today. Oh, we got a little action on SOFI. Why is it not on our gap up list? It should be, I would think. Maybe the ATR is lower than 50 cents here. But we are up 8.4 this morning, 3.7 million shares traded. So yeah, this is definitely in play. I'm assuming the ATR and this is just lower than 50 cents. That's why we don't have it. It is, right? Okay. Any news, Peter?
Yeah, it's only
SOFI
34.
today?
It's only 34 cents, so that's why it wouldn't have made our list. SOFI does have news that they've got a $2 billion agreement with Fortress Investment to create a new loan platform. So that's good news for them and a boost to their business. No real detail of how exactly this is going to work, but it doesn't matter. The fact that they've got that $2 billion worth of funding behind this platform is good news for them and why we're seeing the stock move.
Yeah, I think worth watching the stock. I mean, it is tearing it up here this morning with good volume. So I think worth watching. And we do have shares for sure on this one, which is nice. You always want to have, if you can, shares for sure, just to play even a pullback back to the VWAP, right? If we get to extend it here, stock could be strong, but it can give you some good opportunities to the downside with some profit taking, or even later in the day if we get some kind of reversal. So I like this one. We'll add it to the list, heavily in play this morning. So thank you for bringing that up. Mary Kay, we did speak about Hood. Peter just spoke about it not so long ago. And I'm with him. This stock is just so hard to trade. Banking stocks overall, and trading stocks like ABKR, they're just tough, right? And it's kind of what Peter mentioned. So it is up here on probably Bitcoin stuff. I have better ones. I have Mara. I rather watch. They're gonna get better volume and trade better, and also on a secondary, it could be Coin. Right, Coin is gonna be a good one, and also I have MSTR. Let's not forget MSTR is also a Bitcoin play here as well. So I like this one. It's the one really driving the news, I think, today. So yeah, I'll be watching that instead of the other one. LBPH is a low flow that's high flying this morning. But this one is the buyout, though. It's another low flow. This is the actual buyout. So usually buyout news, Miss G trade, it's not great. They don't trade great. You might just stay stuck at this price depending on the buyout contract, whether cash or stock, whatever it is. We haven't seen great trading out of buyout news. Now, rumors of a buyout, it's a whole different story. That can trade very well, but not this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rumors are good. These actual facts on BIOS are not. All right, let's take a look at our YouTube chat, guys. What do you guys like this morning? Let's take a look. Yeah, same thing here on Chu Guevara LBPH. Same thing. We just kind of spoke about that one. Futu Aaron is giving us Futu this morning over on YouTube, and Futu. As I look at it here, it is down 2.7. Again, Chinese ticker. It's down this morning. A lot of them are, but I like really. Who do I have here? We have PDD and Bob on my secondary. They're all down slightly, but the volume is light. Notice how Bob is only 400,000, PDD only 230,000. If we've been watching these over the last 3 weeks or more, their volume pre-market has been a lot more than this. So very quiet this morning. We'll have to see when the bell rings which one gets the volume. But you can look at Futu, but I prefer these two. I think trade much better. All right, friends, let's stop here. Let's go to our beautiful community events and announcements that are going to be happening this week. Peter's going to walk you through that, starting with tonight's onboarding class and when and how you can join that course a little bit later.
Absolutely. Well, as Carlos said, yeah, we have 2 onboarding sessions that help you get oriented and sort of get your platforms set up. If you want to learn a specific tool, the DAS Trader Pro platform is one that a lot of us use as a trading visualization platform, and we're happy to have Brendan, who's going to help take our members through configuration issues, questions you might have. I mean, it's a great tool, but not always easy to use. So it's good to have that help on the setup. And if you want to get support, you can go into the onboarding room and get that information at noon today. That's for all members, no matter what your level of membership. Also for all members is the onboarding class that Carlos mentioned that happens tonight at 8 o'clock. It's great to orient yourself with the community and everything you can get out of it. Hopefully, if you're new, if you joined over the weekend, or even if you've been here for a while and you just want to sort of say, I'm not sure that I'm doing it right, you go there, figure, that you can get your questions answered. Or if you've got a lot of experience, maybe you can help out some new members and join as well and support Carlos in answering questions for people. So that's at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, we talk strategy and trade book as we always do. Looks like we're still not updated on this sheet. I know Mike is on the road, so maybe he hasn't had a chance, because I know we've got a different session happening. There should be something on tomorrow. I just don't know who's speaking, but 8 o'clock tomorrow, we should have a strategy session. I know, Carlos, we've mentioned it in the past. I just can't remember who I said was going to be here, so I don't want to get it wrong, but somebody's going to be there tomorrow. Don't you worry. Next week, then, Paris is going to be taking over, talking about how to read the tape. Sorry? You're saying something? No? Okay. On Wednesday, we always have 2 sessions on Wednesday. First is a technical session, looking over Bookmap. Nathan has agreed to put this on. It's relatively new for us. He's going to help you understand how you get the most out of Bookmap. It's another tool, and if you're using it, it's great to visualize where the volume is and how order flow works. But once again, right, it can use some help in its configuration and setup. So Nathan is going to be taking our elite members through that at noon. And then our main event, if you will, is the psychology session that happens in the evening. And Mike is going to be leading that one, talking about how you can set up a support network for yourself to help with your mental resilience and your trading mindset. So that's 8 o'clock this coming Wednesday, 2 days from today, at 8 p.m. Like I mentioned. Thursdays, it's always about our mentorship sessions. We've got 4 different ones. John has one at 11. Jared and Megan one at 2. Lenny does a 4 o'clock session, and Thor closes the day with his 8 p.m. session, which is always very popular. So hopefully you will attend some of those. Depends on how your trading goes. Maybe you want to be at all of them. But there they are, 11, 2, 4, and 8 on Thursday. And that's it. We don't do anything on Fridays. We give you the day off. It's a way to ease into the weekend. So that's our sessions for this week. On the website, bearabletraders.com, if you want to join us, there's always a number of membership options, from the intro, which, if you're listening right now, you can always get for $1. You can see that right below me, right there. See how it says it? Right there, and the big banner thingy at the bottom, right now. You can get access for 1 week for $1. Go to bearbulletraders.com/YouTube and you can take advantage of the deal. So that's the $39 intro offer you see here, but it's only $1. It really is just we invite you for free, but free has problems because then again, scammers and bots get in. So we're just trying to keep them out. It's the only reason why we need $1 from you. Otherwise, you can join then the basic or elite monthly packages, or of course the elite annual, which is always your best deal. All right. With that, hopefully you'll consider joining us here sometime soon. We always have a lot of fun with our members, and we always tell them if you want information on the markets throughout the day, free scanners, a free simulator, you go to tradingterminal.com. It's the place to get all that, plus a whole lot of courses in the academy, which are cool stuff. A bunch for free, some that you might have to pay for, but they're well worth the value if it's a topic you're interested in. Paris's course has been very popular. I think Thor's got some going on there. We've got Eamon, who's got a course in there. Anyways, check it out. You can find all of the material. It's pretty cool. So, all right. With that, Carlos, we should set some levels. I'll invite our moderators to get their lists in, and we're going to get ready for this open coming up in about 25 minutes.
Yeah, sounds awesome, guys. Looking at our list right now for me, MSTR, I have Mara on here, I have Tesla and SOFI, and nobody mentioned Apple or Nvidia today. We've been very haven't looked at some of our massive movers here. Nvidia actually looks decent, 5.7 or 1.2, so we do have space for that. We'll add Nvidia to the list. That's good. Apple's not doing so much, so we'll leave that one alone. Daily looks good for a possible breakout, depending how the market does, but again, it'll be on my secondary. I mean, we're always thinking about Apple. If anything gets going here, we'll look at that. And then Meta is another one that's also been tearing it up here. Look at the daily here, doing very well, looking nice this morning, up 1%. Light volume, that's okay. This stock doesn't get the volume into the market open, so we'll see what happens with Meta. But yeah, we'll stick with the ones I have now. Let's start with MSRT this morning. MSRT, again, in play today. Typically not a stock that I prefer to watch, but today there actually looks good. They're up 5.7, 1.6 million shares traded. They got some news behind it. I mean, they got a lot going on that is worth giving them a shot this morning. Hopefully they treat me well here. So 226.89 high of the pre-market. The low is going to be down at 219.93. And then once you do that towards the bottom, you don't need to add anything. You have the highs and lows for the last 2 trading days, created some good support here. Huge breakout day on Friday, creating that previous day close. I mean, the end of the day is strong, and that's continuing today around that 224.40 is the previous day close. Moving over to the left, we are sitting at all-time highs. Let's check a weekly. Yes, we are. All right, so that makes it even more exciting. So we're sitting on all-time highs here. There's no levels above what we have at the moment. So some good stuff happening for MicroStrategy today. That's all you need on it. It's looking good this morning. Here is Mara. Mara towards the bottom has plenty of levels. We've just been stuck right within the 16 to around 15. I mean, if you look at the ping pong action back and forth, creating a massive support and resistance area there. This morning, we're breaking out of that. Our low of our pre-market is at 1647, so we'll slam one there. And then towards the top, we have another one at a 1698, so we'll slam a level there as well. If we look towards the top here, we do have an area around, this would be 1766 is good, and also 1823 off the daily. Once you do that, I think you're pretty much set when it comes to Mara. I don't think you need to add anything else. So good stock this morning, good volume. Let's see how it does at the market open. Again, both of these are crypto plays here today. They're looking really nice. Let's see where they go. You also have other ones as well. If you look at our gappers list, I mean, it's majority is Bitcoin plays. Pick your favorite out of those. Let's take a look at Tesla this morning. So Tesla, we are up 1.2 after a nice landslide on Friday after their event, right? Their event was Thursday evening. And then Friday, we got the reaction. You can see that there. So they're up this morning 1.3, was as high as 222. And the low of the pre-market was 219.80, 26 so far is your low of your pre-market. So that's the range. Towards the bottom, you do have the highs and lows of last trading day. So it would have been Friday. And then you have the nice gap down we had on Friday morning, right? So here on the daily, you do have 227.35. I think it's worth marking down that level. It's midpoint, almost like mid of this gap down at 227.35. Once you do that there, I don't think you need to have any more levels. If we do start dropping below this previous day close and the lows from Friday, just in case we do go south here, we do have 210.41, great level of support in the past that can become support again. Other than that, guys, you're pretty set on Tesla. Good volume, 3 million shares traded, up 1.3. Let's see if we're trying to recover here. If you guys remember Tesla, if you guys remember when they went with the Cybertruck, same thing happened, right? They had a gap down, and then since the Cybertruck, they took off and did a split. So you just never know. Just never know what the stock is capable of doing. Not saying that's going to happen, but just be ready to jump in or jump out whenever you need to. The stock should be fun for the next coming days. Here's one that's fun right now. We've been very explosive is SOFI. We're up 9.4 on this one and climbing. Our high of our pre-market is sitting at 988 right now, so we'll slam one level there. As you guys over on YouTube slam that thumbs up, we are sitting. I'm showing 9 likes. No, I got to refresh that. If it's 9 likes, we'll disconnect right now. Okay, 98. All right, good. All right, that's better. I was saying, if it was 9 likes at 910, we're disconnecting ASAP. But no, 100 likes so far. We can live with that. So thank you guys for your support. Really appreciate those 100 people that came in and hit that thumbs up. Thank you so much. It does mean a lot to us. This is what we ask. If it didn't help us a ton, we wouldn't be asking, but it does help out the channel a bunch. So thank you for that. And if you haven't done so, we would love for you to take an opportunity in supporting us. That'd be awesome. Towards the bottom of the price on this daily, we do have 944. So 944 right on there. We do have a great level on the daily. And then towards the top, we do have obviously the easy level, 1047. But there's one right on here too, 1070. I don't think we can skip this one. You got a nice rejection, actually a big rejection at 1017 on this day here. Look at the rejection towards the bottom. And since then we did recover after that, but that's a nice rejection you want to have marked down on your daily. I don't want to add too much levels, but it's another one here too. I think it's going to be important. It's going to be 921 in case we do drop. You got this as resistance in this area here, support as well. I think it's worth having down also on SOFI. So SOFI high flying today, up 9.1. I have them on my list. The volume is great. They have some news on top of that. I think today could be a really great day for them. We can short them as well. So if we do see some weakness, some profit takings, we can play it on the down direction also, which is nice. Nvidia, we didn't talk much about today, but they're here, man. They've been on a nice little run since it started around September, right? They had a massive drop in August, and I think Mike caught a position like at 96. Mike is sitting like I think is it 106 or 96. He has a position on Nvidia, doing very well. But we're up here at 130.35 since September. After this drop, we've been climbing nicely, and they've just been crushing it. Their all-time highs is coming up here at 140.52. And if we look at the daily here, we are surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. The high of the pre-market is right where the price is now, so we're kind of slamming into that 136.59. And once you do that, guys, I mean, there's not really much you need to add on here. The next big level, if you look at the daily, right, if we zoom in here, the next big level is just this all-time highs here on 140.52. So we'll see where Nvidia goes. Looks great right now. Great volume, guys. 6 million. We've definitely seen higher volume, but for a Monday, semi-holiday Monday, this is not bad. Not bad for Nvidia. On my secondary list, I have BABA, PDD, and some other ones on here. VERB, which is a low flow. Look at this thing. Broke through 12, guys, hitting 15 to 12. This is just on fire.
Yeah, I know.
I have it here for entertainment purposes only. Actually, I should put it like on my risky pile all the way down here. Be very
shout out to Jared,
thing,
who's been trading this. He jumped in just after 10 at the $10 price when we mentioned it, and I guess I was wrong. I said I didn't think it had much farther to go, and it did. It went up 50% since then. So yeah, it's moving like gangbusters. Probably this is going to get boring once the market opens. That typically happens with these things, but you never know. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's unreal. Definitely in play, up 78% right now. It is on fire. So be careful, guys, if you're going to be trading this. If you're new, if you're just starting out, this is one you want to avoid. You can get lucky, but for the most part, newer traders have a very difficult time with this. So just stay away from this for now. There's plenty of other stuff at the market open we're going to be able to take great advantage of. So just be patient. We'll get there. Peter, take us through what our team is watching, and then introduce us to who's trading live today.
All right. Yes, indeed. Our team has a bunch of stuff that they're watching. I will just mention off the top. Don't forget that we are in earnings season. We started a little bit last week, obviously with the bond holiday today. You're not going to get, companies don't want to release their earnings when there's weird stuff happening in the market. So tomorrow we will go in earnest with some earnings. Banks and healthcare seem to be the focus. We've got Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, and then United Healthcare, Johnson & Johnson. So a number of big names that are all having earnings tomorrow morning before the open. So hang on till then. Yeah, you can see today is pretty quiet, and tomorrow then we got a bunch of stuff to look forward to in the morning, and then it just gets busier from there. So it will be a busy week on earnings. All right, but for today we got to stick with what's on our gappers list and what we can trade, and we're going to go through those that have already posted their list here. Starting with Lenny right at the top, first one in this morning, watching Tesla, Nvidia, SoFi, Upstart, UPST, and MSTR MicroStrategy that we've talked about. Eamon is looking at some longs potentially on Amazon and Bank of America. Mike is keeping it tight, just watching NVIDIA. Pierre is going to be watching NVIDIA, AMD, Tesla, and Apple. Jared, NVIDIA, he's going to take a chance on Hood, Robin Hood, and of course VERB, which he's already traded and had a great morning already on. Thor's watching NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, and then the market indices. By the way, the SPY, all-time highs. We hit that all-time high last week. We're still gunning higher here this morning. There's no looking back for this market. It's just on a, Carlos, how many years has it been? That this market is moving up since 2016, 20. Every time that
I was
people
gonna say,
foretell.
I was gonna say like about 300 years ago, but I don't know when the market's been open. But yeah, the recent times, yeah, 2016, something like that.
Well, yeah. Yeah, everybody said, "Oh, it's got to end sometime," and it felt like it. 2020, if you remember, we had that big pull down when when COVID hit. But we roared back and haven't looked back. This market, if you consider that it has gone up like sixfold since 2010, so all you had to do is put your money in a market tracking stock for the SPY, and you would have had 6 times your money. That's it's not a bad return. So yeah, I think it's been like 15 years anyways. This market has just been going up. So there are many people working Wall Street, all those kids out there. Kids to my perspective, but that they just don't know really what a bear market looks like. And they can happen, but it's been a long time since we had a real sustained one. So we'll see what happens. It's been 84 years. I'm still waiting for Jack. Anyways. So all right, that being said, let's get back to our moderators list. But yeah, because Thor was watching the market and got me sidetracked there. So Megan is going to be watching Coin and Nvidia. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the usual suspects: AMD, Tesla, and Nvidia. And then I on my secondary I put Boeing, Affirm, and VERB. None of which I'm likely to trade, but I will watch them and we'll see what I can do. Phil is going to be watching NVIDIA, Tesla, MSTR, and Apple. And Avi is going to be watching NVIDIA, Amazon, and Tesla. By the way, Avi was hosting Andrew in Dubai on, when was it, Friday? Thursday, Friday, or was it I don't even know. I just know over the weekend we were getting some pictures of him and Andrew together. Looks like they went out and they were talking market theory with spoons. Didn't quite understand that. I got the principle he was talking about, but I like the spoon approach. That was different. And we got a sneak peek at Avi's palace that he lives in out there in Dubai. So yeah, it was pretty impressive there. So he was spooning with Andrew this weekend. There you go. We'll just leave it right there. You guys do with that what you will. All right. So so I don't know where Andrew is in the world. Avi, I assume he's not still with you, right? Did he leave? Is he on his way back? Like, I don't know. It's hard to keep track of him. I don't know where in the world he is. I am assuming that he's probably not trading live with us this morning. So we'll have to figure out. By the way, that means I don't have a backup plan. So Brian said he was going to be here despite the holiday in Canada. If any of our members are out there and any of our moderators can jump in, Thor maybe, right, ever popular, or Megan, you owe us a live trading day because she was supposed to be here with us last week and wasn't feeling well. I see that she's hanging out this morning, so maybe she can jump in. Well, somebody will be here anyways to trade live with Brian. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Anyway, so there you go. That's what our moderators are watching. That's what we've got on deck. I'm surprised no one put Boeing on their list. I didn't see Boeing under anybody's list, but maybe it's just not interesting enough, right? The bad news happens and Boeing will shrug it off once again. I mean, it's not doing much pre-market, so I can't blame them, I guess, for that. It's not that exciting. I'm going to spend time with the family here this morning since my daughter's heading back out of town sooner than we'd all like, but all good things must come to an end. So I don't know that I'm going to get a lot of trading in, but I'll take a peek at the markets when I can.
Yeah.
You mentioned the kids are home.
Same.
Yeah, Carlos, you're probably not going to be that focused on the markets this morning, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna probably watch the first 5-10 minutes, and just to see how things open up. But yeah, the kids are home, and I'm gonna just go spend time with them this morning. So that's my plan. So yeah, I don't want to be stuck on a computer when they're home, and I could hang out with them. So we'll see how it goes.
I understand, right? It's when they're around, that's where you'd rather be, and that's why we do this so that you can.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely,
right? Take
absolutely.
advantage of it.
Friends over on YouTube,
All right.
if you haven't done so already, subscribe. We do this every Monday through Friday when the market is open. So join us here. We have as you can see, preparation for a market open. Brian is going to come on next and take us to the live trading. So we're on all the way until 10:30. And then sometimes we have a speaker coming on at 10:30 to kind of go over a specific topic. So if the first time here, welcome. We'd love for you guys to come back tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't hit the like button, do that as well. We really appreciate it. All right, Peter, I think we're set, man. Again, a quiet day, so be careful out there, guys. It seems like there is some stuff moving, but for some reason, it seems like there's not like a whole lot of crazy movement like we've been getting last week. So just be patient if you don't see a setup. That's going to be important. But the market overall, the SPY is just ripping here. It's up higher, so we'll see if this can continue and into other stocks as well. Hopefully Thor joins Brian today. Yeah, people likes to see Thor trade in the morning. So let's see if Thor can join us today. I owe you guys a live trading as well, so we'll do that. We'll plan for that also. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah. We'll see. If nobody's on for tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow. We'll figure something out.
Hopefully Thor can. Megan's already tapped out, so she's still not feeling 100%. So we can appreciate that. It's always bad enough trading when you're not feeling on top of things, right? Often you actually want to take yourself out of the market. Decisions. Yeah, and it's even worse when trading live is harder than people might think. Like you think, oh, you just do the same thing and just talk to us about it. There's like sort of extra stress, right? Because you are under the microscope, right? When there's hundreds of people watching you and sort of evaluating what you're doing. So it can be it can be tough. Thor said he can jump on. He just needs to do his hair. So hopefully he finds some, or maybe not.
That should be quick. That should be very quick for him.
Yeah.
There's a picture. There's a video out there with him with hair, I believe. Ain't there like a video YouTube video he sent us
used
before?
To sing in the barbershop quartet?
Yeah, no, that's a recent one. That's a recent one. This is another one, really old one. I'm not sure if he was singing or not, but he had hair, so we'll have to get a picture of Thor with hair. And that's by choice, I think. It's not by he can grow if he likes. All right, friends. I heard Brian. Brian is on deck. We will leave you with him this morning. Have an amazing trading day. 7 minutes to the market open. We have a great watch list today for this type of Monday. Just be patient out there and have a good one.
Trade smart, everybody, and have a great day. Brian, I got to remind you again, it just doesn't feel natural. The red light's not on. We want those hot donuts.
Oh my God. Always forgetting something in the morning, aren't I? There we go. The red light's on.
There it
There
is.
you go. Oh my God! Now it feels proper.
There
Thank
you go.
goodness. Back in business.
It must be
All
getting
right.
cold in Florida that Thor is starting to put on the beanie hat on there, huh? Thor is making sure that
I didn't know I was going to be on camera, so I was worried about my hair. So I wanted to make sure I put my beanie on. No, actually, you're right. It's 65 degrees outside, so I'm freezing. So I had to warm up a little bit.
Or are you just looking to represent? You got a lot of branded gear there, so
yeah, short Jags. Unfortunately, all short Jags. There's no. This is all free. Actually, I picked it up out of a big dumpster out next to the stadium. They're just getting rid of it, and I was just like, oh look, a bunch of free stuff just laying out here. I guess I'll just put this on. So.
Hey, nice.
We rode the trucks.
65 degrees.
we lose in the States. We lose over in overseas. We can lose anywhere. We're good at this.
yeah, they were playing in they're playing in the UK yesterday. Your team, the Jags, eh?
Yeah, we normally do really well over there, but today this wasn't our go.
There was a couple of big blowouts. There was a game yesterday. It was like 47-0 or something crazy. I can't remember what it was. Was that Detroit? I can't even remember. I just remember looking at the score and I'm like, that's not good. So
yeah.
Anyways. All right, guys. Have a good trading morning. You got it just under 5 minutes. I'll leave you to it. Don't force anything, everybody out there. Don't forget, bond market is closed today, which means the price action, it just may be a little weird. If you see things unexpected, that could be the effect of that bond market being closed. So just be cautious. Don't force anything. If you don't get one today, there's always another day. So have a good one.
Thank
well
you,
stated.
Peter. Thank you. And it's like 65 degrees and you're wearing a beanie. Wow, if
freezing.
If that was my approach, I'd be wearing one every day almost.
Well, you have hair, so you can, you keep your head warm. Mine doesn't. Mine gets.
Well, there you go. Okay. All right. So we're really opening up in an interesting range on the Qs, especially. We're outside of R4 there, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been making a pretty hot run this morning, and we MNQ specifically, which is our future related to the Qs, just hit a few minutes ago its monthly selling level from the past 2 months prior to the tick and found a seller there. So I'm really kind of interested in basically pre-market high on the Qs. To see what happens around that area. I think we've got a lot of topside left in the monthly chart. So if they want it, they can get it. But we've done a lot of moving already in the morning on not a lot of volume. And statistically, the SPY and the Qs especially close 80% of their gap in the morning. So that's the difference between their open price and the previous day's close. They close that gap the vast majority of the time. So having us starting out the day extremely far away from previous day's close does also bring in a little concern with going long today. So I think I'm going to be looking for some failure plays today. I've already picked up actually a couple of contracts of NQ in the pre-market or MNQ in the pre-market up near where pre-market high is now to see if this monthly level plays. And then I like NVIDIA, Tesla and Apple today as far as tickers to watch.
Yeah, I'm watching the same three plus Apple. I'm not watching Apple, although I could. I have an extra chart here. I threw up VERB, but I'm watching Meta as well. So Meta's got a nice move on this morning. It's I think it's going to be a bit range bound today, but I think it could push up to R4, this 617 area.
AMD might give you a little bit of a rising devil kind of opportunity for you. Yeah. It's starting to sell a bit in the before the open.
It's interesting.
And getting extended
AMD, you
from
have to be
VWAP.
careful. Yeah, you have to be careful with AMD. It does some funky stuff at the open. But yeah, it's actually gone red on the day. So, and the Qs are rolling over a little bit here. The Dow is still slightly red. So they got that giant chopsticks thing grabbing that rocket yesterday. That was pretty impressive.
Wasn't that awesome? I thought it was so wild. I just love like the whole concept behind that. Someone just sitting there going, how are we going to catch this thing? The legs aren't going to work on
Yeah,
this one.
exactly.
Just chopstick it.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Going to open here in about 20 seconds. Remind everyone in YouTube, there is a small delay between us and you. Sometimes it's really small. Sometimes it's a little bit bigger. So just keep that in mind as we talk about tickers. There may be a little bit of a delay back and forth, but otherwise, should be good enough.
All right, here we go. Ding, ding, ding. See where the market takes us here.
Getting a lot of volume coming in right at the open. I'm still holding my short.
Kind of watching AMD for see if it does break down. NVIDIA's going the other way. Okay, I'm did short a little bit of AMD, but I'm like I said, I have to be careful with AMD at the open. It does tend to do some funky stuff.
We had a pretty good buy come in and hit right there as we sold.
There we go. Just covered some AMD under 67. 67.01
really nice.
Actually.
Good work, Brian. That's nice.
See, now it's come back to my break even. Like I said, you got to be careful with out of the rest of it. So, yeah, and, wow, NVIDIA is absolutely ripping.
Wow.
Yeah, see, look at that. See,
Market's
look at
not
AMD.
going anywhere, though. NVIDIA's ripping while everything else is stagnant.
Could have flipped my position there with AMD, but you just never know. Like I said, initial weakness. AMD's book's pretty balanced, actually.
It's interesting how the Qs and SPY are in place while NVIDIA's ripping like this.
Yeah. Is there some news on NVIDIA, or is it just another day in the hood for NVIDIA in the bull hood?
NVIDIA's breaking some pretty significant levels to the top side right now. So
Yeah.
it's, on the monthly, it's making some pretty considerable. I think its all-time high, at least its recent all-time high, was like 140.76. So it basically looks like it's trying to make a run. This is very aggressive, though.
Yep.
Let's see what it's doing up here. A lot of buying into a really bullish book. And then they slammed into a seller here they're working on.
The Qs just literally broke out here, pushed higher.
Yeah,
Qs are trying to catch up with the SPY. Huh. IWM struggling here. It's interesting.
I'm watching NVIDIA here to see if it fails.
Still moving. Yeah.
Very aggressive.
Yeah. VERB is breaking out. I think VERB is halted. I just got long some AMD there at 168.20. See if it can break out here. And it looks like there's a seller there at 168.50. I'm getting out of that. I don't like that trade. It feels like it's going to head lower.
AMD kind of pulled back up to the 50 and under R3 there.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice little spot. Just trying to see if I'm a little hesitant right now because things are still actively buying. But I'm not in really a spot where I feel comfortable buying. So I'm just kind of hanging out right now, waiting for a nice opportunity.
Tesla's looking like it's going to go red on the day. It's going to have to be careful with Tesla because that PDC is area it looks to bounce from. AMD did break out there, but pulled back immediately. All right. Well, finally, NVIDIA's have a few sellers here, but it's low volume.
All right, I got my eye on the Qs here, just seeing what happens. Looking for a seller. Is there a reason you can't short Tesla? Tesla is on SSR.
Yeah, you'll have to wait for an uptick. Can do it with a market order.
Yeah, I was going to say you might be able to short it. It's not down 10% today, but it was 2 days ago. SSR carries for 2 trading periods.
Yeah, it's definitely on a short selling restriction today because of the drop it saw yesterday, or Friday, I should say.
So you can still get short on it while it's in short selling restriction. You're just going to need to get filled on the uptick. So you'll have to drop either a limit order right behind the price or use a market order that gives you a plus or a minus, so it can fill in the proper position. Stinking Qs, man.
Yeah. Wow, VERB. I think this looks like 169 on AMD. Q's pulled back, but buying brigade came in right away. It was a low volume pullback. And that NVIDIA pullback was low volume as well. But it could be the day as well.
Made a
It
real
is
quick
kind of
move up to the
funky.
higher end of the range here, so I'm still just waiting to see if we can roll over on something.
It is kind of a funky day because of the bond market being closed.
So, I mean, as admittedly, I'm more of a range trader, so I don't really do well on momentum. That's one of the things I kind of had to be in tune with very early in my trading career. So I'm going to be a little boring here for a few minutes because I haven't quite seen what I'm looking for just yet. I'm kind of like Q's here, and I'm looking for an R6 opportunity off of Q's for those cam traders for a movement back across the range. So that would be a short here. But so could be a nice setup if that comes to fruition. I like how fast we moved up to the top of the range. So now I'm just looking for some confirmation of selling.
VERB is open again for those that are looking for some spice. Careful with that, it's dropping.
Looking for something spicy.
Ooh, spicy. It looks like they're going to halt it here at on a downtick. That's never something you want to be in a downtick.
Yeah, Jared, that makes sense.
Pretty crazy price action on AMD. NVIDIA's definitely struggling.
Yeah, NVIDIA's struggling up here nicely, and we're building orders to the downside. But the volume really hasn't started to hit the sell side as much yet, so I'd like to see some more of that.
Happy Thanksgiving to all our Canadian friends out there, Canadian traders, Canadian mods, and Canadian members. Yeah, the Qs are at R6 there, eh?
Yeah. Everything's kind of where I like it. I'm just not really seeing, like, I haven't quite seen, like, the signal yet or the obvious.
No.
The struggle is real. Like, they're definitely having a lot of trouble finding fresh buyers to come in here. So, and we made a very aggressive move to the top of the range very quickly. So, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable with entertaining the idea of a short here. I would just like to see some more selling.
More confirmation. Shorted AMD again. Just covered some at 167.30. Yeah, it's pretty tough trading right now. Here we go. Come on down, AMD. It's 167. Test low of day. Yeah, it's just jumping all over the place.
All right, we have volume coming into the market now.
Yeah, to the upside. We're getting a pop here. Now I'm out of the rest. Yeah, now I'm out of the rest of AMD again. Make pop back up. NVIDIA's dropping. Okay, well, 2 trades on AMD. Neither one really sort of half worked.
And I threw a couple shares short on NVIDIA. It's struggled for quite a while. If it comes back through high a day, I'll bail out. Order book looks pretty bearish now too. They brought in some good orders to the downside.
I'm short a little Tesla with some options. Just I'm looking for a break of PDC now. Here we go. Now we're in the red on Tesla.
Yeah, we need the selling to sustain, and the market's not going with us, Jared. I like my idea, but it would have been nice to see a big seller hit the market at the same time. But we'll see what happens. There's a great spot on the Qs and in the NQ especially for a seller, because we sold here last month and it basically started our movement all the way back down to the lower end of our range. So we just got to be patient. This is going to take a minute. Wish it had opened a little lower. I could have bought R4 if the market had opened a little lower.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in a good spot.
Sold a few options on Tesla. I'm trading the 215s puts that are expiring end of the week.
Oh, nice.
Okay, they're at $4 now.
Yeah, the book just went really aggressive. All right, we wait. Yeah, absolutely, Dalton, over in YouTube. The Camarilla pivot system I was using was actually designed originally around futures. I'm still just holding my NVIDIA short for now. I don't want to take another trade until I see if this gets stopped out or not.
Jeez.
Order book brought in a lot of orders to the top side, so there's a few to the bottom side too. But I really liked the sell, but not enough volume came in when it sold, so I'm not as happy on the NVIDIA short now. But
I filled some more on the Tesla puts at $4. Wow, Q's and SPY are just
going
out here. Yeah, they're giving her. There's some orders there at 217 on Tesla and 215. I don't know if we're going to get there without a bit of a pop here, maybe. Man, the Qs are going for 498.
No worries, Mina. I like to hold on to mine. I don't have to take the full stop, but I prefer to. Because I'm a range trader, generically my entries are right near the edge of the range, like kind of near the inflection point. So getting retested is unfortunately kind of like let's call it an occupational hazard. So if I got stopped out, if I stopped out every time the price came back to my entry, I would stop out all the time. So unfortunately, although this may end up being a losing trade, I'm not really so concerned with that. So it's just if it's meant to be the loser, then it will be. But if this does work in my favor, because I'm still only slightly above my original entry price, if this does work in my favor, this will be this one trade will make, potentially make my entire day. So, but one loser won't kill my entire day. So I'm more invested in just kind of hanging on to it. But right now it's not looking great for me. So we're probably going to be hunting another trade here in a few minutes.
Man,
So
man.
Francesco asked me, why don't I stop out at break even and then get back in? So Francisco, believe it or not, this is a personal decision. And the reason why is because if I stop out, I won't get back in. What I found is I ran through my stats that if I got in and it came back and stopped me out, I was significantly less likely to get back in than I was if I took the stop and then got back in. Oddly enough, I don't know if there's something about losing makes me more willing to risk more versus going break even makes me more willing to, makes me more cautious. You know what I mean? But for me, statistically, it was better just to take the loss, because really what was bad for me is when I would lose or it would go out at break even, I wouldn't get back in, and then I had to watch the trade go all the way and hit my target. And that would, that I was not in, that would like tilt me beyond all metric.
Yeah, it's kind of like flipping your position. It's if you're short and then you want to go long. It's kind of like you got to flip your mentality, and sometimes that's hard.
All right, I'm out of that one.
And it is just NVIDIA.
It's not
I don't
an
know if
ideal
there's some
setup.
news.
It's way too high and it's near floor levels. So.
Well, I was looking at it from your Camarilla, trading perspective, and your this was what do you call this? An outside day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was figuring. We were all the way at the floor levels and we got there in a hurry. So, but it's not ideal.
It's kind of like we had Friday. We had we did some pretty narrow Camarilla pivots, but then Thursday and then Friday they really got narrow. So it looks like it was 138.50 is the next level. Some big orders there. And there's some huge orders to the upside here, 139, 139.50. There, they just took out those orders there.
Hey, Dalton over in YouTube. I like footprints okay. I use Bookmap more just because it's what I'm used to, but I think footprints work great. There's a lot of features like through Ninja, and otherwise you can get the like the volume profile and like the buying dots and stuff actually put right onto your chart. So when you see big buys or big sells, you get a big dot right on your chart.
When you're using your Camarilla pivots, do you have the box checked for calculating using pre and post,
The pre-market
without
or
using?
data or whatnot. So what I
Yeah,
do basically is, as I've been taught to use them, is that if the current price, like at the time of the open, if the current price of the pre-market or the post-market from the previous day stayed inside the highs and lows of the open day, then we don't generically use it, because why add the extra data that you don't need? But like if the price
right,
gaps and or it goes outside the previous day's highs and lows, then we'll add it, because now we've got new data to consider. Especially if you have like a big gapper, you'll have to add it. If not, the cams won't be in range
right.
anymore. So, but that's pretty much it, how we do. So I have
Because
a little
on DOS,
hotkey on my Stream Deck that'll switch it back and forth for me.
because
My
on
TOS
DOS you can.
configuration actually automatically switches it. It actually looks at
Oh,
the
does it?
ranges, and
Okay,
then it'll actually put on the right cams, or turn on the right ones, turn off the wrong ones.
interesting.
I'm liking Apple up here. It's kind of exhausted its buyers, and it's starting to just kind of roll over, and it's bringing in a large bid back at 229.
Just got long Nvidia for this run to 139. I think we're gonna
Over
get.
in the Over in the YouTube, Logan was asking why his DOS montage doesn't show the order book as deep as ours. Check your tier settings, Logan. Right-click Level 2 Config. All the way at the bottom, you'll see tier, and then you'll see Level 2 iNet, ARCA, IEX book. Check those and make sure they're set to something like decent. Like mine are set to like 300. And if you liked that little advice there, make sure to throw me a little thumbs up.
Yeah,
We
give us
have
a
700 people
give us.
watching in here, and only 242 thumbs ups. So,
Yeah, come on. Here we go with Nvidia. We're getting there. I'm gonna take some. I'm gonna take some off. 138.94. I think we are gonna blow through this 139. We've got a huge order at 140. Still hanging up there.
hey, Brian, question from the room that I want
Yes.
to know the answer to, so I'm going to bump it in. Why on the Tesla one, why use options instead of just grabbing shares? What advantage does
I
the
don't know. I
option
just, for some reason, I've been trading options on Tesla. I like the Tesla options because they're probably one of the most liquid options. A lot of people trade options. Here we go. There's that one blow through 139, selling more. A lot of people trade options on Tesla, which makes them quite a bit more liquid. So it's just a more capital efficient way to get a move on Tesla if you're confident in the direction. Wow, Meta's just blew up. What the heck
I really like
happened there?
what you're saying at the end there. I think really resonated for me. One of the things we talk a lot about in here, which is the different barriers to entry we have in the market. Options have actually a fairly low barrier to entry financially, although they are much more
Yeah,
complicated to trade. So it's kind of got like a high mental barrier with a low financial barrier. So Brian, in this moment when he decides to make a move, can get a better bang for his buck, basically, if he uses an options trade on that one, especially since he knows Tesla specifically as a vehicle. And this is very important for you options traders. There are some vehicles that if you choose, they do not move fast enough right? They don't get to where you need them to go quick enough to take advantage of them using options, right? If it's going to take you all day with decay, depending on which option you choose, you may
Right.
actually not make a good amount of money on it if you get stuck holding it for too long. So you need to be aware in that regard, as Brian is, that he specifically chose it because this is Tesla, and he knows Tesla tends to perform well when he uses those. So he can use a better capital system and do that at the same time. So that's a double-edged sword there that works real nice.
Yeah, you have to be careful. You can't just trade any stock with their options. I mean, I'll just take a look at one here. Like for example, Netflix has some of the contracts have like a $1, $2 spread on them. So you have to be. But when you're trading Tesla or Nvidia, the typical spread on the bid ask is 2 cents, 3 cents, 5 cents, depending on the option. Wow. Nvidia,
Man,
I'm going to
this
sell
market's
some
going
more.
like crazy now. So anyway,
I'm
I
going to sell.
actually have to bail out because I have a 10 o'clock
Okay,
appointment, and I was not expecting to be trading this morning. But much
perfect.
love, everyone in YouTube. Thanks for the likes. I saw those come in, so I appreciate you. We'll try and maybe get someone in here to hang out with Brian here for a few minutes. Otherwise, I hope everyone had a great trading day. And as always,
Thanks, man.
keep it green, people.
Cheers.
Always great trading with you, brother.
Yes. Stay warm, buddy.
Yeah, I do. I got the beanie on, so we'll be okay.
You do. You're looking good. All right.
All right, bro.
Come on, let's have some likes for at least for the beanie, Matt. Let's go. Come on. You gotta love the beanie. All right. Thanks, Thor. All right. Okay. So I'm down to quarter position on NVIDIA. All right. Okay, so what else? Who else traded today? Anybody trade anything a little different? I just traded Tesla. I traded AMD. AMD is a dog's breakfast, as we say. NVIDIA. NVIDIA really was like that breakout was amazing. I wish I'd been watching it instead of AMD. So I'm still holding some here. I'm looking for that move to 140. I still got a couple options left in Tesla. Not a big position there either. Still looking to see if Tesla can really lose this previous day close level. Still some big orders here at 217 and 215. I knew we were going to get this pop back up here after this sell-off. So we're coming back down here now. Paris, how's it going, buddy?
Okay, how are you, Brian? How is everyone
I'm
in the
doing
chat
well.
room?
Doing okay. Glad you could come on. How was your weekend?
Pretty good, pretty good. I was outside.
Nice.
I was traveling over the weekend to New Jersey,
Oh, okay.
so it was a pretty good weekend.
You were in,
How's everybody
you were in
in the YouTube?
New Jersey. Were you visiting Carlos?
So
I think Carlos is in New Jersey.
yeah, I know Carlos is in New Jersey. So I am short Tesla and I am short Apple. The two trades I'm in right now. Tesla is selling off. Very
All
nice.
right. Very nice. Yeah.
So I can share my screen in the chat room.
And Tesla's gone red again on the day. That's good.
So let me share my screen, guys.
I should have added back at the VWAP there. Would have been the move. Meta tried to get above 600, rejected.
You traded Tesla too, right? So
Yeah, I'm still short some calls here. I'm gonna maybe sell another one.
so people in the chat room, you guys should be wow, boom,
Oh,
nice,
nice! Oh, I just got that
nice,
that drop. Wow, yeah, that was nice. I'm happy.
nice.
Ooh,
Yeah, you guys should be able
look
to
at
see
that.
my screen, guys. You guys should be able to see my screen. Ah, man. Had I was not trading Apple, I would be adding Tesla. But this is good. Ah, wow. Beauty. Beauty.
Yeah, just selling another option at 460.
So very nice drop on Tesla.
Yeah, look at that. You could see it on the Bookmap. You could see these levels right here. I said I was expecting a breakthrough here. We're coming down to 215 now, where I probably am going to get out the last of my option trade. There's an order at 210 here. I kind of feel like that's a no intention to fill.
You never know,
Here we
Brian.
go. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. It's not going to get there without a bounce.
Yeah, without a bounce. I agree.
Yeah, I think here we go. Let's see if we can get $5 for this last option. Here
Yeah, I
we
was short biased
go.
on Tesla. I was short biased on Tesla. And I'll explain on why I was short biased on Tesla.
There we go. We got $5 on the last one.
Ah, beauty, man. 215. 215. I'm getting to the break-even point on Apple. So I shorted Apple at 230.80, and it's coming to my break-even point. So not a great. Yeah, if it rejects from here, I'll add more, but it doesn't seem it wants to go down. So I'm short Apple right now, close to my break-even point, and Tesla is the trade of the day. Got close to a 5 point move on that.
Yeah,
5.5.
that was a nice drop. I love that drop.
Yeah, I actually added more on Apple, guys. That got rejected at 230.80, so I added more at Apple. I'm looking for a reject. Nice, beauty, beauty. So now it feels like it's want to break the VWAP on the downside. So let's see if it holds here. It needs to hold below these 230.50 area, 230.60 area. If it bounces back, then not a good, not a good,
Not a good sign.
not a good sign. Yeah.
Hmm.
Brian, I got something special for you. for that Tesla trade.
You got special for me for Thanksgiving.
There you go. Dancing
There you
robot.
are. Yeah. I guess he had some of the real ones actually serving drinks or something at his cyber cab event.
Well, there was that Verge article about what are they called? The Optimus. How
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of them, well, they all were pretty much human controlled.
Okay.
And also, if you listen to them talk, it's obviously not AI. It's somebody on like a walkie-talkie or something. It's weird. So yeah, there's that Verge article that came out over the weekend. That's actually pretty good.
A huge bid on Tesla at 215. It's gonna break
Yeah,
this
I think
level.
you're right.
So Tesla, see that this guys on the chat room, guys. Now see this how the spoofing is happening. Currently, 215 is only showcasing 30,000 shares, but now you see this now another million shares added. Like they keep spoofing around. They keep on a stick at 215. I'm actually adding a little more on Apple, guys. I'm adding a little more on Apple. I think it has a chance to drop.
There,
Uh,
that's my idea of a robot.
so 215 is gonna flush. Oh, Apple dropped. Amazing. I love
Yeah, I'm
you,
just
Apple.
I
Nice,
shorted
nice,
Apple. Shorted
nice.
Apple with you here. Here we go. Nice.
So
Wow.
Apple got flushed very nicely. Literally, we caught it a 50 cents move, quick momentum.
Yeah.
But 215 is gonna flush very soon. So 215, they keep spoofing around at 215 on Tesla. MSTR is looking to hold the 223 area. So 215 again, I think it's gonna hold for a little bit, but then flush very nicely.
Yeah. If it comes back up to the 9 EMA on the 2-minute chart, I'll get back in on a short.
So 215 level 2 keeps spoofing around on 215. Yeah, it's gonna flush 215. What you would see on the tape, guys, that 215 literally by the penny, it would just print all the red, and then would very quickly drop and uh, now it's coming, not yet, and then you know that it's gonna drop. A lot of people scalp around like the what you call as a micro scalping. People trade that micro scalping when they see all the
Hmm.
reds, all of that, and they do it like 20 cents, 30 cents drop with risking like 5 cents or so. People are good at that as well.
Lots of machines too, right? They're good at high frequency trading and taking pennies each time.
Yeah,
There we go with Apple. I'm short Apple with you.
very nice. Yeah, Apple. I think Apple has a chance to go to the low of the day.
Well, 230 I'm looking for right now.
I was short biased on Apple as well, and I took that in the at the open. I got stopped out, and now I'm
Hmm.
back into this thing.
You're back, baby. The Qs are dropping.
Yeah, I
SPY
really want to
is
showcase the 215 thing in the chat room. You would see that print. You would see that print. Now it seems like it's gonna print 215. They're gonna come to no, not yet. You would see all the yeah. Now it's time. Now it's time.
now
Time.
it's
Time.
going.
Time.
Yeah,
Time.
look at the
Two one
size.
two
Look
one
at the
five oh
orders at
one.
215.
Yeah, two one
Massive
five oh
orders at
one.
2. Yeah, huge
That's
orders at
21501.
215.
21501. 21501. 201. All the reds. No, not yet. That's 215 is a boss, man. 215 is, but
Yeah,
it's
they're
gonna
really
drop.
trying to.
See, boom. See that? Oh, beauty,
Yeah,
beauty. Covering some guys.
soon as
That's a 50 cents drop. That's a
yeah,
that's a
that was
50
a big
cents drop in
drop.
a heartbeat.
I'd watch. You might bounce here just because it hit Friday's low. That was Friday's low right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Indeed.
Now they're gonna bounce. Now, like this is what it drops, people scalp, and now they wanna buy. Like they trap a lot of people who were buying at 215. They trap it and then they buy it and then they trap the shots as well. And then it would try to settle. Let's see if 215 still steps up or is it still weak? It's weak. It's clear indication that it was just a lot of stops got triggered. Somebody bought it, and then it
Yeah.
was just a minimal.
Yeah.
It couldn't hold the 215 for the second time. So, and the
Hey,
stock
hey,
can
Brent,
continue to be weak.
Brent,
Sorry.
are you still in Tokyo?
I'm still here in Tokyo. Yep.
Have you gone to see the robot show?
No, not yet. Haven't been. I need to though. It's on the list.
Are you going to Roppongi?
You know
Checking
what?
out the
Haven't been
Bison?
to Roppongi yet.
Okay.
I'm about to go out to where is it? It's near the mountains.
Oh, okay.
Kamiko. It's almost like BC.
Okay.
It's very naturey. It's supposed to be
All right.
quite beautiful in the fall.
Nice.
Since I was on, we're going to have Jared at 10:30, and he's going to take us through what he sees, where the market's at, and I don't know if I can say where it's going because he'll never say that, but
No.
give us
Well,
some insight.
We can conjecture.
Yeah, selling some at 214. Brian, 210 is
Yeah,
possible.
look at that, eh? Yeah, what a
This is
nice flush. Yeah, maybe we get to S3 is 212, 212.50.
and Apple is dropping
S4.
too, so very nice on
Yeah.
Apple.
Ooh, got a
beauty.
nice move on
230.
Apple. Yeah, just covering some at 230. This turned into a pretty decent day after getting chopped up a bit by AMD.
Yeah, I got stopped out on Apple too at the open. That was a bad loss on tier 2. But then Tesla and Apple trade again. Back in business.
We're back, baby.
Nvidia is starting to show some weakness. MSTR is weak. I think somebody shorted in MSTR in the chat room. Who did? I think.
That's kind of I haven't traded that stock, but I kind of feel like it really the spread on it's not great. It can be 20-30 cents.
Yeah. Gary, Shala, Farad.
I don't want to even look at the options on that. I mean, I'm sure the options are really
Yeah, beautiful. At zero. At zero made a couple grand right there. Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. The options on it are like almost a buck spread. This is again. This is why if you're going to trade options, day trade options, you have to stick with the options that are highly liquid, the ones that everybody's trading, and then that way you don't have to pay a really ugly spread to get in or out. I mean, if you're on the wrong side of a trade and you want to get out, and you got to pay a buck spread. If you bought on the bid and then you have to get out on the ask, I mean your losses would be magnified.
Apple
Oh, look
price
at
action
this.
is quite wicky.
Yeah,
It just
Nvidia's. Yeah, I'm out of the rest. I got out of Apple at 2:30. I want to drop down below there. There's nothing on Bookmap in terms of Nvidia, sort of to the downside. There's only one big order at 140. The Qs have been sort of grinding lower. We're at the VWAP now on the Qs. We're kind of doing a 920 on Nvidia right now. So I'd look for a bit of a bounce here.
yeah, Apple is coming back too. I don't know what to do with Apple.
Yeah. Mm.
Are you still in Apple,
Just
Brian?
no, I got out when it dropped below 230. I was scalped. Yeah, look at
Oh,
that
okay.
bounce, 920 on Nvidia. 920 is when you get a nice run up at the open or drop, and then you drop below the 9 EMA, and then the 20 is the area where you find support, and that's if you look at Nvidia on the 2-minute chart, that's exactly what we got. So if you did take that trade, you'd be partialing here back at the 9. I've always sort of thought 50% here at the 9, another 25 at if it gets back to high of day, and hold 25% for continuation. Meta's dropping too. Interesting. Okay, I have no positions right now.
Guys, I added more on Apple. Added more on Apple.
To your short position.
Yeah, I'm short. I'm short from 230.80. So let's see if Apple has momentum. I think Nvidia has a good volume. Tesla is trying to bounce a little bit.
Really should have traded Nvidia off that 20 EMA. That was one of my trades that I should have taken.
It
Yeah, and the
literally
Qs.
bounced from that 20 EMA. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And the Qs are at the VWAP, which again, that probably was where you would see a bounce there, so that would probably help that trade as well. SPY is back at high of day.
So Tesla is doing a little bit of bounce. 215 becomes an important area where the buyers and sellers are gonna fight with each other. Apple is bouncing from the VWAP. Nvidia is also, it's trying to find a new value area. Okay, so Apple is getting, I'll have to get out of Apple. Apple is getting to my break-even point. And now if I wanna add more or get out, the buyers have not taken on Apple yet. So I'm still short biased on it. So we'll see. The tape on Apple is turning to be bullish. The volume is coming in. Nvidia is having some selling pressure at 139, but it's holding, so which
Yeah.
is good.
It is holding, and there's still at a big order at 140. But yeah, the Qs are bouncing back off the VWAP. SPY is now right at high of day, back at R6. Interesting.
I added more short on Apple. Not a good idea though, but this would be my last ad before I get stopped out. So quite a lot of ad, but we'll see. I think my average is 230.70. Nvidia seems like it could not hold. I think Nvidia would be a,
Yeah, Nvidia
it
looks.
looks
Yeah, I was
weak.
just thinking that.
Yeah.
Thinking that too.
Either it could be choppy or it could be a great short. It's not a, it
Yeah.
doesn't look like a long.
Hmm.
Oh wow. Nvidia stepped up above 139 and it's not rejecting either. MSTR. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a question from YouTube on from Titan that the open volume is very bullish. I agree. To be honest, I agree. And uh, a lot of times at the open, you see a rally at the open and then the fade all day on the thing. And I'm betting on the fact that it's gonna fade all day, uh, or the
Hmm.
remaining of the day, just because it was in a very tight range. There have been some negative news on Apple, and I want to see it tries to trap, and this could easily be a trap because it came out of the range, and then now it's fading all day, and I'm betting on the fact that it would fade all day, and I'm using the tape to get the information that where the sellers are stepping in, and I saw sellers stepping in around the 231 area, and I started thinking, okay, how can I capitalize on the sell? So if 231, I'm using 230.80, I saw a seller step down. And I'm now using that as my stop loss area. If it bids up above 230.80, no reason for me to be a part of it. So and then it would, break the high of the day and all of that. So now things are, the price action is more into like stepping up. The buyers are stepping up. The 230 was bought back up, 230.40 stepped up, and now it's the 230.60s is stepping up. And I'm still betting on the fact that I will still find the 230.80 seller that I saw earlier on the tape. And if that doesn't exist, I don't. There is no reason for me to be a part of it, and I'll get stopped out. And it's okay. My average, managing your risk is really important, and my average is 230.70, 230.69 here, and uh, and I'm just using literally betting 10-15 cents to make like a dollar out of it, or a $1.50 out of it. And that's the beauty of the risk management, that you are capitalizing on the things that you see, using the tape to get your clear confirmation and get better entries, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it's you manage
It's
your
all
risk
good.
efficiently. Yeah.
Hey, Paris and Brian, we're ready to switch
Yes.
over to Jared.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
want to
All
say
right.
goodbye?
We never want to say goodbye, but
That's fair.
we know
Yeah,
parting is such
awesome.
sweet sorrow. But we're looking forward to hearing what Jared has to say. He's got lots of insight as to different levels. Should be watching this week. So hope everyone had a good morning. We had certainly had some good trades on Tesla and Nvidia. EMD not so much. Paris, thanks for hopping on. Always a pleasure to see you.
Oh, thank you, Brian. Always nice hanging out with you, and please throw a like
Yeah,
in the YouTube channel, guys. And hope it makes sense to you. Hope it adds value to you. So please throw a like and show your support. And I'll see you guys. And let's hear from Jared. Jared is coming, right? So so yeah,
yes,
looking
sir.
forward to hear from Jared.
Take care.
Take care, Brian. Take care. Bye.
Bye now.
Good morning, Jared. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How's everybody this morning? Hope everybody's having a great morning Monday trading session. Let's kick off let's do some screen selection here. This should be the right one. Okay. Okay, so as always, kind of kicking off with a overview of how the market's been trading, what's working, what's not, and really just calling out some obvious things. As we're breaking out, and probably the breakout in focus is the one that occurred from the FOMC, we wanted to, as best as possible, align ourselves to the long side of the market. Let me make sure. See, Paris's webcam and screen are still active here. He might still be on the vMix.
Yeah, I muted him.
So perfect. So yeah, the breakout in focus is the one that took place a couple days ago. Last week, we saw the Monday and Tuesday session represent itself as an engulfing. So if we're just looking at past Monday and Tuesday, that is an engulfing setup. and it led to the eventual break of balance, which was something that was established back during the FOMC levels. That balance has obviously broken bullish and has continued to the upside. So we've been trying to align ourselves to the long side, but we're also looking at what's causing the breakout. And usually these are going to be our bigger market cap stocks if we're talking about the entire S&P moving up, along with maybe some sector strength. And that was kind of where getting a little bit more granular into maybe what was breaking for the Wednesday breakout and where was the strength. Friday also had a lot of relative strength. So, kind of observing what was breaking out on Friday, we identified a few things like industrials with new all time highs, along with some, I would say, like pullbacks starting to pick themselves up. And that's usually indicative of a pullback ending and potentially a new swing trade starting. So, as we were reviewing all this morning, I think the notable observation here is trend day. So we're in a gap up open. Our Monday session is advancing as of this moment. So it's very difficult to call a top when you have a gap and go trend day in a breakout and we don't have a marked high. So, for the most part, our objective this morning was to either be bullish or to look for a rejection somewhere, and it never came. Some additional concepts here are what range did we break and how much energy does it have? So when we're talking about the expansion levels, I am simply marking these 2 price points, which is the FOMC gap up open high and the previous all-time high, and roughly marking that high and low. All the extensions that we've been seeing have been in relation to that breakout, and last week we doubled it. So we hit our 200% extension target. It doesn't mean that we go short. Just because a target is met doesn't mean we all of a sudden flip, and we're still just looking for marked objectives, of which when you're at an all-time high or if you're in some sort of expansion type of market, something that has like a trend component to it, I like to just refer to the fibs. And 161 is a conservative target. So if you break a range, theoretically, if it can't go up 60% of the total range, then it's not a breakout, and we just ignore it anyway. If it goes up 200%, it's a doubling of the range, and that's very normal. That's usually what we target if we're in the breakout part of the range. And then a 161 can also extend to a 261 because usually there's a smaller range as we hit some objectives. So while we have this much larger trading range that we broke out from, there's also smaller ones that were created 2 days ago. So Wednesday and Thursday of last week had a 2-day balance area, sort of an inside day. Those all just kind of build upon each other to lead to marked objectives, things that we can at least put on our chart and have an idea of where the market might be heading, along with seeing whether or not the order flow and the price action is moving us there. And from my perspective right now, there's literally no reason to go short the market unless we get pullbacks. All of our pullbacks right now are where traders are trying to find pivots, and as you can see, not a lot of them are working well, or they're very temporary, which just means they're intraday, something that can be cleared the next day. So being bullish might feel a little difficult as the market continues to expand because we often get what's called extended at this point. Usually when a bunch of energy gets released out of a range, the first thing that happens is a big sort of explosion of price. And we're on that part right now. So we're on the explosive side of the move up. It also doesn't mean that this leg can't come back to hurt us, because releasing energy is only done once. If we don't balance this out and maybe establish a higher trading range, then obviously we'll talk about reversals in a later time frame. But for now, and theoretically into October, we're going to be staying long so long as this part of the breakout extension remains intact. So, pullbacks right now are going to be deemed as pullbacks. We're expecting high side sellers to lift as we, start a session or look into things like gap up opens. And if we don't get really just a reversal candle, it's going to be very difficult to say that this move is over, because we know that there's a lot of energy backing it right now. So that's where we find ourselves. It's also true that we're looking for clues if we are talking about getting short or taking profit. Right now, the thing that's been lagging has been the NASDAQ. And as you can see, this morning we're approaching the highest levels that are left over from the July sell off. If you want a specific level up here, I would argue that the first break of a bar and some of the backside selling that took place against it, that's where we're hitting. So it is true that the NASDAQ could be the consequence of selling. But today we're running into it. So we kind of need to let the session finish to really know if the NASDAQ's going to be the problem child. And if it is, then, prove it. There needs to be a little bit more proving on the session. So, kind of looking across other markets, I would argue that the Russell had its day in the day in focus on Friday. That was kind of where we saw some of the larger PPI activity on small caps. And while it's not in a full uptrend just yet, we do have a nice range breakout, and we have a nice bullish bar leading to that range breakout. It actually did it in short order, so it did it in a full session. You don't often see that, but it did do it. So we're probably looking for the IWM to maybe set up long, and then probably still looking for some of our high side levels, of which this is another market that hasn't quite cleared its all-time high. So there theoretically is some room. And then last but not least, the Dow. The Dow did stand out because similar to the SPY, we're advancing. We had a smaller balance range that broke bull on Wednesday. Thursday, we held the top of the range. And then Friday, we basically did a 3-bar setup, push, pull, and then press. Dow, also expanding, looking for those FIB targets. So, we don't really get to choose what day things happen, but we know that when they happen, there are certain consequences to it. Anytime a range breaks, I always look for a double. And it's just a conservative way to think about targeting, especially when you don't have price levels above you or below you. And then secondly, I don't fight it. So one of the easiest ways to lose money is to fight order flow before it's finished. Because the last thing you want to do is get yourself trapped at minor pullbacks as the market's still advancing, and then finding yourself covering, 3 or 4 times with no follow through. So be very careful top ticking an advancing market, and choose your stocks carefully, because not every stock is doing this. The sectors in focus, I think, are going to lead into what was in play last week, because we did have periods of performance last week, but they were kind of captured on Wednesday and Friday, our 2 bigger sessionary moves. So while, if I bring up sector performance last week, technology stands out. I would argue that technology wasn't bullish all of last week. It just had very strong sessions. There were particular days that kicked off technology bulls. Specifically semiconductors, which are having some great continuation today, obviously on the back of NVIDIA and a couple of other key names. Financials also stood out, but that was on earnings. So as we are looking into stocks like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and then tomorrow morning we're going to be looking at Bank of America. The standout on financials mostly occurred on that Friday session with a lot of follow through. JP Morgan hit its expected move. I think Wells Fargo did as well, even though we were kind of looking at some bearish trade taking place. And a lot of the other banks kind of followed suit. So the whole sector rallied on Friday. And then obviously that carried both the Dow and part of the S&P higher as we had industrials with some strength. Healthcare showing a little bit of strength too. Anything that shows a little bit more than the indices are going to be standouts. And because we're bullish, I mean, we could talk about weaker sectors, but why? I want to be with the best of the best. So our relative strength showed up last week in these sectors, and they beat the indices as far as performance is concerned. So those are the ones that are in focus right now as they're both expanding and have a lot of volatility kind of behind them. So, I bring up industrials because of the obvious new all-time high. Technology, like I said, kind of stood out near the latter half of the week. And then our financial sector broke out, but it was Friday because of the earnings. So we can kind of see things through the lens of when they broke out, not only that they broke out. And the easiest thing to do at this point is to kind of look for our continuation targets, letting things pull back to fair levels, because obviously we don't want to buy too high, but we also don't want to top tick a short. There's no follow through on downside just yet. So want to be patient on those, at least for maybe some future ideas. And then, like I said, there's certain stocks that are standing out today. The one that's capturing everybody's attention is Nvidia. I want to highlight here what level they might be going for. It's obviously going to be the all-time high, but the open print of the all-time high, not necessarily the absolute high. Our orders right now are showing at 140. So if you're long Nvidia and you're comfortable holding in the trend, I would say be patient, for 140, but also allow yourself to profit take if you see some distribution. At any point, these upper tiers of buyers could kind of come back in and maybe fix some of this morning imbalance. There's a bit of a disconnection between the morning and the upper tier. So, Nvidia bulls are obviously pretty happy this morning. They had some nice order flow. And on the other side of the fence, we have Tesla. I can see certain traders were trading it short. There's obviously, I can see a huge V reversal now. So get out of the way of that if you are short. And we're in 2-day balance, which means there is potential for Tesla to just trade off of Friday's low and potentially go as high as Friday's high. So always have your session levels marked before you take a stock. That way, at least you know where to look for liquidity issues. Highs and lows are going to be your key factors on those. So, given that it's Monday, one thing I was kind of highlighting in the chat room is our bond market is closed, and we're not necessarily seeing a ton of volume, but we're seeing big volatility, which simply means that price action is pretty wide, as of this moment. That's normal. In fact, that's kind of what we often expect when we're in extensions, because oftentimes there's only one type of key trader in markets like these, and it's often retail. So retail traders are very good at, I would say, taking certain levels and being very reactive off of them. Whereas larger traders tend to have a bigger volume footprint, but they also have objectives that aren't quite as reactive in their interpretation. So you won't get like a candle hitting a low and then immediately coming off of it. That's a very retail type of trade. Institutional traders tend to trade more balance levels and often will take things sideways for a while before they decide to break. So, um, given that it is that type of day and that type of, I would say, like general index order flow, I wouldn't necessarily call this day something that we need to mark as important, but it is allowing for the range concept that we had a couple of weeks ago to finish and hit all of these nice price objectives that were already kind of in place. So as we finish up today, and really what we're looking for is the full session, because there's going to be a lot more trade in the afternoon. If these bulls continue to advance and if they continue to hit higher objectives, we're just going to be waiting for tomorrow to kind of see what the impact of that is, because the bond market will reopen. We should get more capital into our overall market, and hopefully we'll get more information. But right now, bulls kind of win, as far as price action is concerned. Intraday traders need to be very aware of that. And unless you're looking for like a rounded reversal up here, I would say wait until your midday session and allow for this upper balance to develop to give you an idea of whether they're truly reversing. Because oftentimes a trend day, somewhere around 11 o'clock Eastern, starts going sideways. And you'll notice the nuance of that whenever you get a fresh price high, but you don't get a lot of follow through. That typically indicates that you're out of momentum. You're starting to go back into a balance phase, but you're at the high. So, just because you have a high doesn't mean you reverse. You might just be balancing, going sideways. So that's kind of what feels like's happening right now. We could maybe get one more little up thrust here, and then into the afternoon, if we're getting a bigger reversal, we should start to see more volume come in and more price confirmation, of which we don't currently have any. So hopefully that's helpful. The irony, and it's kind of my last note, the irony of intraday trading is that a lot of intraday traders, for some reason, don't like trend days. And what's funny about that is trend days are supposed to be our best sessions because we can kind of buy at the open or sell at the open and stay in the market without too much pressure. But because we're so attuned to taking things on pivots at times, it can often be very difficult because we want to take action quicker. But a trend day is supposed to be our friend, so allow these days to kind of be your bread and butter when they show up, especially on breakouts. And then if we're talking about a pivot or a reversal, this could come a little bit later, probably into the afternoon session. So, all right, let's see. I'm looking for questions here. Nothing on YouTube. And looks like our intraday chat room is pretty happy out there. People posting profitable trades. So it looks like everybody's crushing it today. So y'all don't need me. I'm just here for the time.
You're pretty thorough. I think we can wrap it here.
I try and be. So hopefully everybody's having a great Monday. Y'all trade safe. Wrap things up as we get into midday.
You okay?
Yep, good to go.
Okay. Have a good day.
Later, bye.